of the impeachment complaint. Sangayon naman ako sa kanila dahil ang mga sinabi nga natin mga endorsers, there has been allegations now of misuse of hundreds of millions of public funds. Merong mga sworn affidavits, merong mga allegations na binitawan, merong usapin regarding betrayal of public trust, graft and corruption. Kagaya nga ng sinabi ni Congresswoman Renico, hindi dapat tayo matakot ungkatin ang katotohanan. At kagaya ng sinabi ng aking kaibigan, si Pastor Benny Abante, public office is a public trust. We should proceed with fairness and without fear. Bottom line, we have to be impartial. That's why I would like to raise this. In the light of serious allegations contained in a joint affidavit issued last February 23, that has been reportedly transmitted to the Office of the Ombudsman. There have been allegations that some members of Congress nakatanggap ng envelope, nakatanggap ng maleta. Ito'y naibigay, kung hindi sa opisina, sa townhouse. No, let me finish.
There's
You
a
will
point
have your
of
turn
order,
because
the
this is
Honorable
bearing.
Santay.
This is not an allusion
Order.
to prejudge the veracity of the allegations.
Honorable Santay, there is a point of order.
This is also a
And
point
that
of
enjoys
order,
the
Madam
highest
Chair.
hierarchy among all the
What is
motions.
the relevancy of this speech?
No.
to the determination of sufficiency in form?
Madam Chair, this is very relevant because we are
Please, Honorable Santay, please wait until he finishes with his point of order. The Honorable Terry Ridon is recognized. Kindly use a microphone which is okay.
Madam Chair, the speech of our distinguished colleague is absolutely relevant to the question of sufficiency of form and substance in the matter. And more importantly, my understanding of what he's stating today is that he's probably accusing members of Congress, members of the House Committee on Justice, as receiving payments for the implementation of our mandate in the impeachment proceeding. So, which is which, Madam Chair? So I think his speech is out of order and this should be decided promptly by the committee.
Okay, we heard the basis of the point of order of the Honorable Terry Ridon. Now we shall hear the answer of the Honorable Suntay.
Yes, Madam Chair. Ang problema sa kaibigan
Kindly
ko,
justify the relevance of your
He is
statement to the
jumping the
current
gun.
impeachment proceedings.
he is jumping the gun. This is actually relevant not only in the determination of form and substance. This is relevant in the impartiality, in determining the impartiality of this hearing, which is very important. Madam Chair, this is not an accusation. Kaya nga, kung hinintay lang ako patapusin, ewan ko, bakit naman yung aking kaibigan, naggagalaiti ka agad at concern na concern. You know, if we have nothing to fear, then we just listen. If we are not being alluded, why are we so guilty? So let me finish. The issue here is not to prejudge the veracity of the allegation. However, given the gravity of the claims and the potential impact on the credibility of the committee's proceeding, ang gusto ko maging malinaw lang po, hindi ko hinuhusgahan yung aking mga kasamahan o ipagpalagay na totoo ang mga aligasyon. Hindi rin po ito personal na laban sa sino man sa inyo. Sa katunayan, ang layunin ko ay kabaligtaran upang protektahan ng bawat isa sa inyo. Mabigyan, kasi may listahan na nilabas eh. Ang gusto ko po sa ganitong pagkakataon, Madam Chair, naniniwala ako na mas mabuti na tayo mismo ang magharap at maglinaw ng issue. Kaya kaysa maging bulong-bulungan pa ito. Bigyan natin ng pagkakataon bawat membro ng committee. Pagkakataon mismo na mag-assess ng kanilang sitwasyon or if they can be an impartial member of this committee. Yun lang. Kung sa tingin nila, they can be an impartial, then let's proceed. However, if they think that baka pagdudahan sila at pagdudahan yung lalabas dito na resulta, then let's allow them if they want to recuse.
Honorable Suntay. With all due respect, unless all your manifestations have complete relevance to the current impeachment proceedings, you're enjoined by the chair to proceeding to your manifestation.
That's why, Madam Chair,
So ordered.
Madam Chair, my point is just to... if
Honorable
we could-
Sunta, you are enjoined already by the chair to cease from manifesting, from making manifestations which are totally irrelevant to our current proceedings.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. But as I
Thank
mentioned,
you.
this goes to the impartiality of the committee.
You are
Thank you
assured
very
of the
much.
impartiality of the Justice Committee. Now we shall proceed to the determination of sufficiency in form. Thank you, Honorable Suntay.
Tory statement. Yesterday, I really acknowledge the statement and the lyrics given by the Honorable De Lima on whatever you go to come here, get here. By train, by car, by plane, by boat. And that is the song, Get Here, by Oleta Adams. Thank you. But in the prefatory statement, it seems that the prefatory statement is from the man from La Mancha, the impossible dream. I like to ask, is the quest to impeach the Vice President an impossible dream?
Not at all.
Okay, so the prefatory statement should have been changed. There should be something more positive than negative. Otherwise, impossible dream is an impossible dream. But anyway, I go now, Madam Chair, to the grounds. We will methodically go into the grounds to try to go to trial against the Vice President. So, number one, the first ground is Vice President Duterte committed culpable violation of the Constitution. There is none. There's no direct. We cannot have a violation of general principles of state policies. There has to be a point, according to the Supreme Court, there has to be clear, specific provision that is directly violated by the impeachable official. There is none. There is no allegation on that. Next, and this is where there is what we have to discuss because there are many underlying grounds for betrayal of public trust. The first one as stated in the complaint is committing plunder. Madam Chair, plunder is under Republic Act 7080. You have to put in here all the elements of plunder, which are for misappropriation, conversion, misuse or malversation of public funds, receiving the commissions. He receives the money, the kickbacks, you see, illegal fraudulent of conveyance of assets or taking advantage. All of these were not alleged in the complaint. So we take out plunder. Now, malversation. Malversation is governed, Madam Chair, by the law on Article 217 of the Revised Penal Code. So there are also requirements for malversation to support betrayal of public trust. And the elements here is that the offender is public officer and, as decided by the Supreme Court, she should be an accountable officer. The Vice President is not an accountable officer. Oh, who are the accountable officers? By definition, according to the Supreme Court, accountable officers are cashiers, treasurers, property officers, and the like. She is the Vice President. And so therefore, this malversation cannot prosper as stated directly. However, this is where it will be. However, there is allegation here that there is conspiracy. Ayan. The accountable officer, if there is conspiracy by the head of office, under the ruling of the Supreme Court, there may be malversation through conspiracy. And that is what they are going to therefore make as a support for committing betrayal of public trust. And then, graft and corruption. It is governed by Republic Act 3019, Article 3. So, paragraph 3, E, F. And there is also no clear allegation that because of his office, she gave due advantage or she received kickbacks. This is confidential funds. And so therefore, Madam Chair, we could not also say that there is graft and corruption. Secondly, and lastly, other high crimes very far from it. In this case, the allegation is that there is a misappropriation of 500 million in the OVP. 125 of that was 2022, 375 in 2000. Now, what is the status now of that particular finding by the COA? Madam Chair, the COA saw that there is lack of funds, that lack of supporting documents, documentary evidence of payments. But there is no COA finding of corruption of the Vice President. This is just the lack of documentary evidence of payments to the respective beneficiaries. And then we also have, Madam Chair, in this case, graft and corruption is defined, the Supreme Court said it's about 3019. So in this case, there is no, when did the Vice President receive the money? Where was it deposited? So, therefore, receiving these gifts or kickbacks under under 3019.
If I may interrupt, Honorable Rodriguez, you are more than 5
I'm
minutes,
just going
so
to wind
kindly
up,
wrap
Madam
up.
Chair. I'm just going to wind up. And then other high crimes, it is far from other high crimes. So therefore, Madam Chair, these are my observations, and we are going to say, and I'm going to state here, that as far as betrayal of public trust, there is a recital of facts sufficient.
Yes.
Substance in substance to go to trial. The particular case here, there was observation, audit observation, and there was notice of disallowance. That's correct. But then the Vice President has appealed this to the Commission on Audit. As to allegations found by our committees on merit status, these are to be explained in the trial.
Yes.
And so therefore, I find that the first ground, there is substance in substance of this form. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Honorable De Lima, your comment?
I absolutely agree with the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez with respect to his summation that these are constitutive of betrayal of public trust. Now, it's not an argument that, the other grounds, culpable violation of the Constitution, graft and corruption, yes, the culpable violation of the Constitution and graft and corruption do not plead, or there's no corresponding allegations with respect to them. Because when we talk about culpable violation of the public of the Constitution, we are centered on the principle of public office is a public trust. And therefore, if there's a betrayal of public trust, that is a culpable violation of the Constitution. Saka yung gusto ko rin pong sabihin for the record, yung mga sinasabi na she's not really accountable. The real accountable officers are the disbursement officers and the other members, for example, of the finance department of the Office of the Vice President. But I maintain my position that she is the ultimate responsible officer. And in fact, I just got a list of the annexes where nandyan yung mga signature ni VP Sara, annexes C, D, D-1, F, G, H, H-1, I-1, Q, R, R-1, R-2, S, S-1, S-2, T, and V3, V-3. Those documents attached to the complaint, and these are certified, and these are photocopies of the original, are there showing the participation, the knowledge of VP Sara. Now, there is a testimony, again, as I mentioned earlier, that there's disbursement that are highly questionable and illegal. These are also meant for persons not within the contemplation of the spending or expenditure of the confidential and intelligence funds of any office. So betrayal of public trust, I agree, this is the strongest ground that encompasses all of the other allegations subsumed in this ground number 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable De Lima. Now we recognize